disclosure, news and commentary number 104, 104, 104, 104, 104. The new setup, the new desk, the new style, the new chair. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Let's turn on the massage feature. All right, now we turn it off. Hey, what's going on? A lot of stuff to cover in this full disclosure. I'm very excited about it. I've decided to go with a meme format since I enjoy making them for the thumbnail. Please enjoy. And then comment below, if you could, about where is that movie quote from. I gave you the screenshot there of the that particular part of the movie to give you a bit of a hint. But I realize I have this obsession with... I have this thing about collecting the worst lines in movies, or the most inexplicably weird lines in movies that don't quite fit. And I was like, what can I do with that? And I thought, oh, I can just use them for the full disclosure thumbnails for a while until I decide to move on to something else, because that's what I do. Our commentary is about what I'm calling the 400 Club. So if you want to find out what that is, it's not the 700 Club, which is that fucking religious piece of shit show that shows up on Freeform, which is like the Disney for Teens fucking channel. It shows up at like the night after they get done with runs of fucking Twilight series and shit. And then they'll have like the 700 Club on a Disney. I don't fucking get it. But we're going to talk about the 400 Club. And let's pop to it. All right, I got a whole lot of people on Patreon. So my goal for this week is to actually have a post-show like thing with the name scrolling down, because that's what the big YouTubers do. And I guess I'm that guy, because now I have 21 people. I got JJ, I got Trey and Trent and BWN and Diana and Josh and Charles and Ace. And by the way, Charles... You know Charles, the guy who is going to do a great write-up, I know, of Viral, who did that great write-up of IWE. He's mended fences with Livewire. Everybody's good. Everybody's happy. Everybody's not mad at me anymore. Or maybe they're mad at me, but at least they're smart enough to fucking let that shit go, because you know I don't let shit go. So that's wonderful. Kudos to Livewire. Kudos to Charles. Great. Justin, D, and Dan. Joe Black. We're going to talk about Joe Black today. Part of it. Derek and Brett. Larry. Not that one, but the other one. Rob Rod, who did many reports. Many reports this week. Then we got the big money ballers. You got Dylan. We got Eric the World Walker. We're going to hear from him as well. We've got Brian. And by the way, PWX, in addition to the Eddie Kingston's Grindhouse show, followed by Rise of a Champion, both of which drew very well. It's too bad Eddie Kingston wasn't at this version of the Grindhouse, because I was at, or I heard about the Eddie Kingston Grindhouse show that took place in Port Richey, Florida. There was nobody at that shit. And so Eddie Kingston had to fucking show up and get embarrassed. He should have been at the PWX one. He would have been very happy for 160 people. And for the guys that work those matches. It sounded like a really great thing. Anyway, PWX, their next show, Saturday, April 17th. What lies beneath? So that shit's going down. And IWE's got another show coming up. And shit's just flowing like water, is it not? How many shows are there for WrestleMania week? There's a shit ton. But we got to get through this list too. We got Robert, who's the Big Mac motherfucking daddy. And then we got the OG Myron. Thank all of you guys. Appreciate it very much. How many shows are there WrestleMania week? There's a fuck ton, and more getting added all the time. I'm going to do my level best to get it to as many shows as I can. But I'm going to be working a bunch of shows. And then I'm also going to WrestleMania on the second night. That means I don't get to see Sasha and Bianca Belair. Sucks. but there's a crap ton of shows, man. I'm looking forward to seeing a bunch of friends. I'm looking forward to hanging out. I'm looking forward to really jumping into some wrestling shows. I haven't decided what format. Sorry, people keep messaging me, and sometimes the shit's really relevant, so that's why I'm looking over. Excuse me. Um, I haven't decided how I'm going to report on this shit day by day. I assume a video in the hotel room at night. Um, I can say right now that, you know, of course I would consider writing stuff about this. But the problem with writing about it is it's just a ton of work when I'm going to be pretty tired. So we'll have to see what form all of this takes. Unboxing. Oh, see, I wrote the note down just to make sure. I got a box, an actual box, which is exciting, which means it's probably not a t-shirt, though I guess I shouldn't rule that out. Pop that bitch. The only instruction that I was given about this is there's just a little note at the top that said for you to use WrestleMania week. Don't know what that means. Maybe it's a rabbit vibrator. I have no idea. Oh, that's... Ooh. So there's this cool little bag. And there's this cool little bag. You see that little... Oh. Other than that, it's just a lot of brown butcher paper. Clean that up. A precious human life. They got some shit by the Dalai Lama up in the... is this that note from before? No, that's just an invoice. It's a postcard. This color... Oh my gosh, it's all this chakra shit. It's indigo. Third eye. Oh my god. The fucking Seidel send me this shit. And then this one is a heart. I thought it was a leaf, but no, it is a heart that's green. Focus love. To purify, open, uplift, and awake. What the fuck? All right. I'm opening this shit. Oh. Oh. See, now, I've said this before, where I don't think... Asians generally look good in glasses, sunglasses. I know it's racist as shit. Oh my god. Somebody bought me these. And let me tell you, the lens is green, which I love. And it's making the whole world motherfucking green. So I assume that this is another pair of glasses. Boom. Now with this green lens, it looks blue. Okay, but it's icy. It's an indigo. Hello. I'll try these on as well. I can tell you what's going to happen with these. Oh, that's sweet as shit. But I can tell you what's going to happen already. These glasses, a friend of mine or my kids, somebody's taking them. And they're awesome. And I appreciate the gift. Thank you to whomever sent them. Please let me know who sent them. But this shit I'm feeling. This is some Hunter S. Platinum shit. So I'm feeling that. I need a fucking haircut, bitch. Look at that shit. I need a haircut. All right. Cool. Let's get into it. First thing. This was sent to me. And caught me by surprise, and it was more than a little bit exciting. Here it is. Joe Black. Looked like he could put some weight on that leg to me. You're seeing the reflection in the glasses from the TV of the Netflix shit. Because I just got done watching a documentary. And so now it's cycling through different shows. I'll take the show. I fucking love these glasses, by the way. Very unexpected, very cool. Looking forward to being Johnny Big Dick when I go to fucking Tampa with this shit. Nice bag, too. But Joe Black obviously can put some weight on that leg. Took a bump, ran the ropes. Looking good. That's exciting. That's exciting. It is remarkable. I was commenting to a friend of mine. What's amazing about the Joe Black clip, too, is it shows. I mean, he had about as big a year as you could have. Feud of the year, match of the year, like feud of the year before, match of the year, wrestler of the year overall, after being technical wrestler of the year before. So Joe Black was really rolling, and then that injury, fucked him up. Pro South used him and protected him a little bit, but he wasn't able to really fucking go like that. Even the match he had with Gunnar Miller, you could tell that he wasn't able to really push on that leg and do stuff. And in his absence, a bunch of people kind of came in. It wasn't just one person who took that spot. It was a lot of people sort of filled that void and got stuff out of their career. Knowing Joe Black, not that I'm claiming I really know him, but I would imagine that he is dying to come back and do his thing. And so that is cool. And that's good news. I have to mark stuff off because I like to jump around, you know. APW drawn 58, so we're back at in the range of what we would expect with them. But for bigger shows, they always do a well over 100. So cool. Pro South, Larry was really happy with their production stuff, not happy with some other things going on. It's amazing because Pro South really had it going on, but talent, it's important. You can see to have that talent for your shows. And right now, it feels like Pro South is struggling. That's just from reading Larry's report. But we'll see what they can do to get that shit back on track. Larry, of course, reporting on the Pro South show. Rob reporting on Anarchy. 165. Hot ass show. Big brawl at the end. Jacob Ashworth picks up that title. Place loses its fucking mind. Name that's on that card. In the middle of this thing where the same dude is beating dude after dude, one of those dudes is Zachary Blaine. I see you. So Zachary Blaine's on that card. Fascinating, right? Got squashed. Steve, what do you think about it? A lot of people contacted me. Steve, what do you think about it? Of course, you know, I reported on the Zachary Blaine shit way back when. He's certainly been out in fucking Siberia. And I know the knee-jerk reaction is child molester, la, la, la. It's not that quite. Zachary Blaine comes into the show, of course with the approval of everybody that mattered, and gets squashed on a show. I ain't mad about it. I did always have an issue with leagues that try to bring him in under the radar. When OSWA tried to sort of slip him back in there, wasn't cool with that. One point, Southern Violence was using him, and he DJs and stuff there, and I honestly have no problem with that. Again, he was never convicted of anything, nothing like that, right? Keep that in mind because that's important. So now Anarchy's using him to get squashed. No beef. We'll see what comes of all of this. Zachary Blaine certainly has paid a heavy price. You know that shit's like more than 6 years old. You know? So, people who are expecting me to jump all over it and get mad about it, sorry to disappoint. Don't worry, I'm going to get mad about other shit. Larietto in the KLT arena. Let's talk about that. So the drew at least 450, probably more. From what I saw, it was more. Though Sean Ambrose was saying 450. I'm sure Sean Ambrose did not like the thought of Larietto rolling in there and outdrawn. This is just my opinion. But it's got to tweak you a little bit, right? Because KLT, who I'm going to talk about again, because they're in the 400 club, right? Meaning they're a group that has drawn more than 400 this year. And but they charge $5 and they comp the fucking world because their audience has a lot of motherfucking kids that aren't paying to get in, and God knows how many other people that they comp. Larietto, they're charging $10 a ticket, so they're charging double at least, right? When you factor in the fact that they're not letting every kid in the universe in for free either. So Larietto's getting a significant higher gate, and they even had $125 VIP packages, which even if they sold one, that's 25 paid tickets from KLT. One of those motherfucking packages. So safe to say Larietto fucking killed it in that building and would probably love to be back. I don't know what the arrangements were or whatever. I don't know if they will be back. I will say Larietto came in there and showed them what the fuck was up. No doubt about it. And then set up their thing where, you know, Logan Creed was going to wrestle against Kaz and all this kind of shit. Big time stuff. Jordan Grace there. Just they're making it happen. Larietto, who definitely we're going to talk about in this motherfucking 400 Club shit. Really remarkable. Really remarkable stuff. Though the Superstars Fan Fest is close to sold out. So this building where they always said the capacity is 450. Now they're saying it's 600. And so they're going to have 600 people roaming around that festival. Okay. Suffice to say, the Sting shit is not happening. It's never going to fucking happen, as I said from the beginning. That October 23rd thing, that thing is out of sight, out of mind, and I don't blame them for not wanting me to bring that fucking shit up. I probably won't ever have to bring it up again, but that shit's not happening. Can we just say, Steve, you were right, it's not happening, it's never going to happen, it's not happening. Yay, me. Great. PCW did a very good show in front of a very small crowd, and that's where they're at right now. In this time where a lot of people are drawing, PCW is having to get their audience back in there. But I know Hankins and company are going to take care of that shit. But it's great to see them doing good matches. It's great to hear me hear great things. I love it. I love it when people are telling me, like, fucking ERC won this fucking match and it was really fucking good. And Naja wrestled this kid from the Nightmare Factory and it was really fucking good. And the Nightmare Factory, these Nightmare Factory kids that are fucking showing up at shows are doing fucking great. That's the word on the curb. Great attitudes, great everything. And that's wonderful. That's wonderful. I'm here. I hear shit, folks. And if people are, I told this to a wrestler. If no one's ever vouched for you with me, that means you're not doing enough. That means you're not fucking getting seen enough. That means you're not standing out enough. Because people tell me shit constantly, which I love. That's what I do. I broker in fucking information about the wrestling scene, especially the Georgia wrestling scene. That's what I do. Ashton Starr documentary, loved it. Tipping Point guest, he was lovely. Tomorrow we don't have Tipping Point, but we have it the following Tuesday. We're going to have fucking Hardcore Giant Ron Nemi on to talk about all that shit going down WrestleMania week. Lots of Georgia people are going to be there. Florida people are going to be there, of course. It's going to be fucking nanners. Are you going to be there? Or are you going to watch on Peacock and pray that Peacock doesn't fuck up on you? I got to say, Peacock through the smart TV is garbage. It is shit. I can't watch anything without being kicked out of it. Though the last Fastlane pay-per-view worked fine. Let me say that. For what it was. I couldn't fast forward, rewind any of that bullshit. Whatever. It wasn't necessary for me anyway. I watched it through and it worked. Great. But the fact that I can't wear Fear of a Black Hat without getting kicked off 3 times. The fact that I can't watch that fucking John Wayne Gacy documentary. Now, I've been told, like, well, what you need to do is you need to have an app and then you need to transmit it to you. Oh, my fucking God. What it made me think was, if they fuck WrestleMania up. Just saying. Wrestling United. I know I talked about this show when I talked about my top 10. Alex Kane, though. He's their champ. Great fucking choice. Great fucking choice. And I got word on the curb about Victory Championship Wrestling. That Slaughter has nothing to do with anything. They gave me a list of what major jobs there are to do and who's doing them. And who's paying for what. And Slaughter's name isn't up on any of it. So I'm going to take them at their word. Cool. Let's move on. Now, if we find out that Slaughter's really involved, really putting up the money for this, collecting money from this, that's a different fucking issue, is it not? But until then, Victory Championship Wrestling was really upfront about whose job is what and how Slaughter has no involvement in it. Cool. Is everybody happy? Probably not. People are incapable of being that way. Happy, that is. Cool. Let's talk about something fucking fun, and that is Southern Honor's big ass shit coming up. And my friend fucking Eric Walker did a great piece on this, which we're going to watch right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, Eric the World Walker here, and this is Eye on Georgia. Welcome to Eye on Georgia, where I take the hottest shows in the South and put them front and center on the world stage. Today, we're talking about Southern Honor number 26, April 2nd in Canton, Georgia. And once again, Southern Honor is looking to deliver the goods with this card that has some very interesting and potentially long-reaching ramifications. So let's break it down real quick. First off, we have Cyrus the Destroyer versus Hold My Beer Hansen, where Logan Chase and William Huckabee will be handcuffed together at ringside. Now, this is a rematch from the championship tournament not too long ago, where Cyrus the Destroyer came out on top. But we all know Hold My Beer. He's resilient. He's tough. So, will this be a case of Cyrus the Destroyer using another victory to propel himself to a title shot? Or will this be the rise of Hold My Beer? Next up, we have tag team action. The tag team champions, Lethal Poison, Corey Hollis, Michael Judas, versus the father-son duo of Ben and Bull Buchanan. Now, they're substituting for the Lynch Mob, but this substitution has piqued my interest a little bit. We all know Bull Buchanan's history. Ben's been a rising star. Lethal Poison has been pushing back and defeating all challengers. So, to me, in my eye, I think we may have your sleeper hit of the night. Next up, we have the Captain Shawn Dean versus Ashton Starr, who's coming off a controversial win. So, is Ashton Starr going to use this as an opportunity to ensure Shawn Dean does not go out on top at his expense? Or is the captain going to get one last win before he rides off into the sunset? Next up, we have Big Shotty Lee Johnson in his last independent wrestling match versus AC Mack. Now, Lee Johnson, he's the one who laid the gauntlet down for his former compatriot. So, is Lee Johnson going to get that last win and ride off into the sunset? Or is AC Mack going to establish his legacy by taking out AEW's future star? Interesting to see, and maybe a potential match of the year candidate. Next up, you got Jordan Kingsley, Kevin Ryan, the Honor Society versus Technical Excellence, Chip Day and Kyle Matthews. Now, Honor Society, they're young, they're brash, they're talented. But sorry to say, you don't bet against experience and talent like Chip Day and Kyle Matthews. Next up, you got Logan Creed versus Austin Towers. Now, this is a case of not only one of the best big men, but one of the best performers in the South, going against a young man who has been proving his mettle, who is trying to vie for that very title. A potential match of the year candidate on your hands. So, is it going to be a case of the king defending his crown or the young upstart usurping that crown? And last but not least, you have the Southern Honor Heavyweight Championship match. The People's Captain, Gunnar Miller, versus the champion, David Ali. Now, if you remember, David Ali won that title, winning in a match that included Gunnar Miller. And Gunnar Miller, what can be said? The man's been a champion everywhere he's been. He's been on a tear in Southern Honor since he came back. But the one thing he has not been able to do is win that championship. And David Ali, he's on a mission to establish his legacy in Southern Honor, in Georgia wrestling, period. In wrestling, period. How is this going to go? I don't know. But what I do know is that this match is going to shape Southern Honor moving forward for quite a while. And with that, that is your Southern Honor 26 review, April 2nd in Canton, Georgia. This has been Eric Walker with a gentle reminder to you to keep your eye on the world.
So Southern Honor, how's this show going to go? I don't know. I'm very excited. You got two guys doing their last indie match in Lee Johnson and Sean Dean. I kind of had a friendly banter with Ashton Starr where I'm like, you and Sean Dean need to beat Lee Johnson and AC Matt. Who's going to have the better match? That's how I look at shit. I imagine if I look at it that way, other people are going to look at it that way. I'm curious which one of those matches is going to win. Which one of those matches is going to be the better match? I'm excited to see. I don't know who's going to win between David Ali and Gunnar Miller. I can't call it. I think based on stuff that I know, I think I can guess, but that's a sign of good booking if I don't know who's winning your big match. Because to me, whoever wins, it takes the company in a very different direction. So that's very exciting. Southern Honor, they drew 410 2 months ago. Last month, they drew 340. What's this one going to be? Is it going to continue the downward slide? Or are they going to get to take advantage of the fact that it just seems like people are more about going out and doing shit? You know, when I went to Southern Honor, they had a legitimate thing of a lot of the young people, the millennial types, were not coming to their show because of the COVID shit. But you can feel it and I can feel it. There's this attitude, whether true or not, that we're kind of moving past COVID. And so people are going out in force. Certainly all of these shows WrestleMania week are counting on that mentality, right? Like, hopefully people are just feeling like they can go out and about and blah, 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 blah. I imagine Southern Honor is going to get an uptick. If they don't, then we got to start asking ourselves why. We're going to have more of an analysis about that when we talk about the 400 Club, because Southern Honor was the first to get in that bitch this year. So Southern Honor is definitely in the motherfucking 400 Club. In fact, might name the shit after them, right? But we'll see. We're going to have that discussion in a bit with the commentary. Let me make sure I covered that. Okay. Before I start ranting and raving about shit, I want to take a second and talk about Bill Behrens. There's a lot of shit going on. And, you know, I hear a lot of things. But I wanted to take this time, just a separate time, to talk about Bill Behrens. Because I feel like there's so many things about Georgia wrestling that are going incredibly well. A lot of people are drawing. I mean, the fact that I can have a commentary called the 400 Club and I can talk about fucking 4 groups that have drawn 400 or more. This fucking horror of a fucking post-2020 year. I can talk about that. Is amazing. The fact that every promotion feels like they are back, or they're soon to be back, like Viral, or they had their shot at being back and then maybe they won't be, like AWE, but they had their shot to come back. Like, everybody got to fucking play in the pool. And a whole bunch of shitbird groups fucking went under and aren't running shows anymore, or they haven't run them in months. Yay, rejoice. Right? Fucking great. You've got the trainees from the fucking Nightmare Factory going out killing it. You've got people from different classes of WWA 4. This class, it seems like they're all moving on and getting to do dark. Or this class is now comprising a lot of the people that you see. And Robert Gibson is putting out fucking students who are showing up, and he's doing them shows himself, and everything's going really good. And even the NWA is back with no fucking fans in the fucking studio. Who fucking made that dumb fucking decision? But that's neither here nor there, right? And I was thinking about the NWA, but I was thinking about like how Bill Behrens works for them. And now he's probably having to wear a lot of hats. They don't have David Marquez there anymore. They don't have a couple of other people there. So Bill, and then I thought to myself, like, Bill has really done this damn thing. And he's still there at Anarchy fucking helping out. And he's done so much to help guide and fucking help with the career of Griff Garrison, who seems poised to get an AEW deal himself. Very much deserves it. Good looking fucking kid. The hair is fucking wild. It's just such a good fucking look. And I thought to myself, I didn't want, because I feel like a lot of people have, I love the expression, you know, get your roses, right? I love that expression. And I feel like in recent years, partly assisted by me, but partly just good stuff happening in general. Certain people have gotten their roses, right? Whether that's Larry Goodman, who I was adamant about, like, people need to fucking acknowledge how great Larry is and how important he is. And I think people definitely have that idea now. Yep. There's less bitching about Larry said this thing about me in a report, and less wrestlers going like, reports don't matter anyway. The fans, that's all that counts. That's what it's all about, is what the fans think. Larry's great. Georgia wrestling history is great, and it's important, and it's pivotal. And now more and more fucking podcasts are going up on the fucking thing, and that's awesome. By the way, Larry and I have been doing Tipping Point together for almost 6 years. Holy shit. And I only feel now like I'm a very good interviewer. It's taken time. Everything fucking takes time, right? But Bill Behrens has worked independent of time. He's fucking been around for years and guided careers and made a living in a very strange way in the wrestling business. And he is the agent, and he is the guy. And so many guys owe him so much, and he has so much knowledge. And I just wanted to say it here directly, because I don't want it to be, one of the lessons of COVID, I think, is this idea of being grateful for things. And it's one of those things that people say out loud, but then they don't put into practice. And so I want to lead by example and put it into practice. I'm grateful for Bill Behrens. I'm grateful that he continues to hang around this wrestling shit. I'm grateful that he's able to give his knowledge to people. And he's so effusive with giving that knowledge. I'm grateful that he worries about shit. Even when Bill and I, that's what people don't understand. Bill and I might see different issues differently. But at the end of the day, we both give a fuck. And I think Bill warmed up to me once he realized that I really gave a fuck and I wasn't just this asshole that was just trying to take or con people out of shit in wrestling, that I was around. Now, he might not like that I have this forum and that I fucking speak on shit so much. He may not like that. But at the end of the day, Bill gets that I'm one of these guys that, I don't even live in Georgia, and I give a fuck about Georgia wrestling. And I think people have figured that out in 2 years that I've been doing full disclosure. Steve gives a fuck, right? That's what I got left in my gallon of water. Whew. So, why am I bringing this up? Because Georgia is at a very interesting crossroads where youth is being served. And I think you have to look no further than the awards and look no further than we are in, as I love to tell people that are close around me, we're in a time of peace in Georgia wrestling. There really aren't, all the squabbles are petty ones because most of the guys who are shit starters aren't fucking running anymore. And so, and even Gary Lamb is playing very, very, very nice. And in fact, to the point where I worry. This is what Gary looks like when he's fucking knocked on his ass a little bit? Because the perception is no longer that he's number one by miles. And so is this when he gets nice? And I know Gary might be listening to this and it might be pissing him off. And I say fucking good. Because I'm all for getting along. I'm all for acknowledging the good shit that other people are doing, and it's wonderful. But I'm wondering where the Gary Lamb, who had the fucking biggest pair of balls, is he just a front runner? I wonder that. Is he a guy who's only comfortable punching down? And when he has to punch up, he kind of lost his fucking heart for it. I don't know. I don't know Gary that well, but I like Gary Lamb. He's got that fucking dynamic personality. He's one of these guys, the guys who are the most successful and the most special are the guys that, and people say this about men and women alike, when you're talking to them, they make you feel like you are the focus of their world. And Gary's got that thing. Bill does not have that thing. Bill's personality is incredibly different, but Bill is built for a fucking marathon. And Bill is fucking consistent excellence over a long period of time. Bill does not waste a lot of energy. Bill does not. Bill is not the guy that's got the personality that's like, look at me, look at me, look at me. I'll just be blunt. People often find Bill arrogant, and people find Bill a little standoffish, and that Bill feels that he makes you feel that he thinks he's better than you, and he'll talk down to everybody, up to and including the president, the Pope, and Jesus Christ. But at the end of the day, Bill's got something that Gary Lamb doesn't have yet when it comes to the wrestling business, and that is an undeniable record of excellence over a long period of time with multiple jobs. And that is, to me, is really impressive. I feel that with his knowledge of how TV works, formatting, dealing with people, Bill is the fucking calm voice in a business that usually has no calm voices. And it's one of those things that I appreciate. And when and if Bill decides to stop doing this wrestling thing, it is really the young wrestlers that are going to lose the most out of that, because they will not have the benefit of his experience any longer. Bill's not like me, where he's not gonna fucking start an internet thing like me. Like this whole shit that I do right now very much fits my personality. I'm very happy to watch a match that, and God, in the past day that people have sent me like 3 or 4 fucking things to look at. It's wonderful. It really fits me. Full disclosure, every week I get 3 or 4 messages minimum of people just messaging me these memes of like waiting for full disclosure, like, and then somebody being impatient. And I love it. It really fits what I'm about. And it kind of combines the performer side of me with the fucking office side of me very well, what I do here. For Bill, he does have a performer in him, and he gets to show that, and it tickles me that he gets to show it. But at the end of the day, it's Bill, the advocate. That's how I see, if I had to sum up Bill and his role in wrestling in one word, it is advocate. He's an advocate for Griff Garrison. He's an advocate for what he perceives to be the right way to do things. And he's an advocate for the boys. And he's an advocate for the people he's close to get them opportunities. And in a business where people often only give a flying fuck about themselves at the end of the day, nobody can accuse Bill of being fucking selfish. And in a business that's built on fantasy and wacko performers and their weird egos, to be able to say somebody in wrestling who does it well and has done it for a long time is not selfish to almost any degree is remarkable. Now, people might quibble with this point about Bill and that point about Bill with me, and that's fine. This time is about me telling Bill Behrens thank you, and to let him fucking have some fucking roses while he can enjoy them. So whatever it means to you, Bill, this is my rose to you. To be, the term measuring stick is used a lot by wrestlers and gimmick and shit like that, and most of the time it's complete fucking nonsense, and it's just a gimmick. But with Bill, he really is the measuring stick. Can you run a promotion as successfully? Can you integrate the national scene wrestlers and wrestling shows as well as Bill has? Do you have as many fucking stories? Have you done this damn thing for that long as Bill has? And that is rarefied air. And certainly nobody has done it in the same way that Bill has done it, with integrity. And in that, in Georgia wrestling, he really stands alone and should be acknowledged as such. So that is what I have done. All right. Let's talk about GIPW. So, ever since they moved out of the Thoisty Toidle, Their crowds are fucking hot, and they're always in excess of 100. This last one, they had 100, more than 100, and then after intermission, they had 70. So they lost a bunch of their crowd. And D Money, who's their booker, booked himself in the main event. And it got me to start thinking about this topic. Every promotion in Georgia, with the exception, arguably, of Southern Violence, if Justin is indeed the only booker, but I don't think he is, but you know what? I'm just going to lump them into the group and they can correct me if I'm wrong. Every group in fucking Georgia, a person who is prominently involved in the booking is now currently booking themselves in the show, in the context of a performer. Now, there is no hard and fast rule on this. Like, knee-jerk stuff is like, that's terrible, you should never do that horse shit. There's been a million examples in wrestling where that worked out just fine, and it was even, maybe even preferable. However, that doesn't mean that there aren't guidelines on this kind of shit. And let me just rant for a little bit here, and then we'll get into the commentary. Bookers booking themselves. Don't deny that you do it. That's stupid. Don't deny that it's exclusively like, I'm just doing this to help get others over. Because I don't see that in any case. In every case, there is an element that goes beyond just trying to get something else over. That it's about, it's people who are enjoying themselves. Bookers who are enjoying being performers and then booking themselves in a position to maximize their enjoyment. That doesn't mean that there isn't good being done. That doesn't mean that somebody else isn't getting put over. That doesn't mean any of that. I'm just saying I don't know one case where there is somebody who's booking themselves and their guys in some way, shape, or form on a show where I want to enjoy what I'm fucking doing isn't the primary consideration or number 2 at lowest. And that's fucking fine. I fucking booked myself before, right? So it's not like you can never do it. But answer these questions, bookers who book themselves and the wrestlers who look at you. And they do look at you. And they do judge you. And there's nothing wrong with that. The role where you have booked yourself in. Are you the most effective person to be in that role? That requires hard analysis. If you're not, then you should put someone else there. Keep in mind the roles, right? If you're an opening or jobber match, the job is to get your gimmick over and show that you can work. I don't see anybody booking themselves into that role, right? I will say honestly, that's the role I booked myself in more often than not, is to get my ass kicked, to get someone else over, or work under a hood to lose to somebody else, right? Mid-card, which there's a few bookers who put themselves there, but not many. Most of them are in the main event in some way, shape, or form, or the main angle. But mid-card, the point is to get embroiled in some kind of feud and then to fucking elevate the show by your performance. So you have to ask yourself, bookers who are putting yourself in a mid-card position, be honest. Are you the best person for that position? Are you the only one who can really elevate that role? And then there's the main event. Create the hype, live up to the hype. A lot of people busted Doc Gayton's balls for Rampage being a de facto vanity promotion and him putting himself into angles. Guess what? He did. And guess what? It was. But guess what? It was effective and it worked. It drew. And if all of the people who were involved in Rampage were smart, they would have just kept Doc Gayton fucking happy. Let him play wrestler It's just the cost of doing business. And this is me just being blunt and honest, because that's what I do. If they had kept that fucking man happy, they could have kept running. But the wrestling person in them couldn't stop them from saying Doc Gayton shouldn't be a part of it. That it makes the show, it devalues the show. And I'm not saying that's not true. What I'm saying is Rampage is closed. And they didn't even have a send-off show. And not having a send-off show, as much as Doc Gayton said it was Obama's fault because of insurance or whatever the fuck, or saying, well, we couldn't have a last show because that would have just cost thousands of dollars, when you and I both know that that's not true. That if they had a show that they declared, this is Rampage's last show, they would have packed that fucking place, and they wouldn't have needed to spend a lot of extra shit beyond the fucking paying the boys one more time. And it would have been a nice way to send it off. But there was an element of Doc Gayton that was angry. And you know why he was angry? Because you motherfuckers wrote him out of his own fucking show. So ask yourself, bookers who are booking yourselves, would you be angry if somebody came to you with an honest assessment of, I don't think you're the right guy for this, or attendance goes down when you're in the main event, or we should put someone else in your spot and let them be the lead heel or the lead babyface? I'm looking at shows where a bunch of people are leaving at intermission and the booker is in the main event. I'm looking at shows that decline from show to show in attendance where bookers are in the main event. Now, I'm saying those things aren't necessarily correlated, but it's worth looking at, is it not? At the end of the day, I mean, I always said anytime I got involved with anything physical at PCW, it ended with me being carried out and bleeding and losing. That's the main way I saw my role. I gave away my last match, essentially, so Shane Marks and Rachel could go face and work them into the main event program. It wasn't even about me and my last match. It was really ultimately about moving us towards fucking sacred ground. And not that I did everything perfect, blah, 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 but I always was very conscious of. And you know what? To everybody's credit, you know what we don't have? A situation where we have a ton of promotions where the booker is the fucking champion. And that's something that we all joke about, right? But honestly, what league right now is the booker the champion? I can't think of one. That doesn't mean there isn't one, but I can't think of one. And that's a win. So, and I'm not saying you can't book yourself. I'm just saying be very conscious of what you're doing, because they're watching, meaning the rest of your crew. And even people who are tight with you are watching, because justifiably so, they're evaluating, is this a spot that somebody else could do? Or could we even do something better without you? It's an important thing to evaluate. It's a question you should always ask yourself. And now, the commentary. 400 Club. Congratulations, first of all, to Southern Honor, to Southern Violence, to Larietto, and to Mucha motherfucking Lucha. They're in the 400 Club. And the fact that I can name 4 different groups that are in the 400 Club, and then I can talk about other groups that have done that in the past, like Southern Fried, is a remarkable achievement. A fantastic achievement. And maybe without precedent in the Georgia area. Ever. 4 separate promotions who drew 400 paying customers to their fucking show. Wow. Even in the salad days 2 years ago, you didn't have more than 2 groups that could do that. Or 3 maybe. Now you've got 4. And frankly, 500 is the new 400 because Larietto has now done it twice. And does anybody in their right mind think Mucha Lucha, now that they're going monthly, is not going to draw at least 400 people? And not just draw. Keep in mind, these motherfuckers at Mucha Lucha not only drew 1,200, they are charging $50 for a basic ticket. Kids pay $25. Is your mind blown yet? First row 100, second row 80. Is your mind blown yet? $60,000 gate minimum. Does that blow your fucking mind? If it doesn't, it fucking should. And now they're monthly, and their first monthly show, they're letting everybody in for free because they're going to establish as big a base as possible and then start charging. I don't know if they're going to charge the same rates they did for their once a season shows, but even if they don't, I bet you they're going to get more than fucking $5. Oh, by the way, KLT, I've got to put them in that mix too. So that's 5 fucking groups. 5 fucking groups that have gotten at least 400 people paid. Such it is, whatever their system is. 5 groups. Shit. 2 groups that have done more than 500. Lariot's done it a couple times. And 1 group that's gone well over 1,000, charging for their cheapest ticket more than any of the others does for their most expensive. The fuck? Not too shabby. It's a great time. And like I said before in my rant about Gary Lamb, he might be seething about that a little bit, but this part should make him happy. You know, when I think to myself, God, Gary Lamb, if we keep it to 3 people per category again this year, he might not even be up for Promoter of the Year this year. But you know, I say that, and it's definitely tongue-in-cheek. Because, yeah, he will. Yeah, he will. Because the same guy who is responsible for 1,000 people coming to see his show, I would love to think that there's no way this guy is fucking lying down. Now, it may be too late to shore up how many people they're going to have on Friday. Or Southern Honor may do fucking gangbuster numbers this Friday. I don't know. But I can't help but think that even this kindler, gentler Gary Lamb is going to be happy with fucking Southern Violence and KLT fucking beating him. That's unacceptable to a man like Gary Lamb, I would think. And so we're dealing with a thing right now that I don't think anybody could predict, which is 5 groups that have drawn in excess of 400 this year. Southern Violence is now going to do shows in Monroe at the brewery. And keep in mind, I am fully aware that some places are inhibited just by the size of their building, like Anarchy. Some places are handcuffed by the rules of COVID, and so they're having to restrict the amount of people that come in, like Viral, like Southern Fried. I'm fully aware of all of these things. I get it. But can't we just enjoy that I'm doing a commentary called The 400 Club. And there were enough people that were in the 400 Club that I temporarily forgot about one of them. Amazing. Incredible. Wonderful. And, honestly, you have other groups that have pulled themselves into triple digits that were traditionally well below. And that's incredible, too. People are really figuring this fucking thing out. People are really doing this thing right. And of all the things that I did, I think the thing that I was the least successful at the time that I was doing it en masse, I only got good at it at the point at where I stopped doing it, was promoter. It's a very hard job to do. It's a very hard thing to do. And I think I only really got it the last year that I was actively doing it, which sucks. Where I could count on the Academy Theater shows being packed, that the Porterdale shows, there was this great buzz about us, that, the last two masquerade shows we walked into were fucking beyond being able to count. So I'm proud to say that I hit the fucking 400 club, then the 500 club, with one particular show at the masquerade. And then if you want to get fucking weird about it and count the free shows that we would do for July 4th, that we probably did have at least 400 or 500 people, maybe even 1,000 one year. But it doesn't really count if they're not paying money. I can acknowledge that. But it was really great to see, and I felt good for the boys that they got to wrestle in front of those kind of crowds. I felt great that they got to wrestle in front of those fucking insane crowds WrestleMania week in Atlanta. But more than that, selfishly, being honest, I just wanted to know that I could fucking do this shit. That how could I fucking talk shit if I had never seen a crowd above 44? But I did many times. So to Southern Violence and Southern Honor. KTR. Larietto and Mucha Lucha. Kudos. Does somebody want to fucking bullshit me and say that there's another state pulling that off? You're fucking lying. There isn't. Keep going. And imagine how awesome it would be if I could revisit this in a year and talk about the 500 Club. And that 500 Club would have the same amount of groups in it. Or more. If we've learned nothing else about 2020 fuckery and 2021 and how crazy all of this shit is, where you have 5 groups in Georgia that have drawn over 400, but WrestleMania still isn't sold out. This is the world we're living in. Bonkers cuckoo. Where, Impact and NWA don't have crowds at all, and AEW can sell 150,000 pay-per-view buys in an era where you can get Peacock still for $2.50 a month if you've got the right coupon for the first 4 months. So people are getting WrestleMania for $2.50. Think about that. But AEW could still sell 150,000 buys at 50 or 60 bucks a pop. So there's things to be had. And I did this commentary in part to tweak Southern Honor. Because I don't want to fucking live in a wrestling world in Georgia where Southern Honor isn't fucking setting a pace that others are struggling. I actually don't like the fact that people have caught them and arguably have passed them up. I want them to set the pace again. That's one reason I did this. And then the other one is, hopefully, to inspire and to also create the sense of gratitude of, motherfuckers, these fucking young guys are wrestling in front of crowds that I got to wrestle in front of, frankly. And I'm glad to see you get to benefit from that as well. Because there's nothing quite like it. This has been Full Disclosure.